Kuzangpo and a very good evening. This is Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Kilatan. Our top stories this week. The government to carry out study on Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal or BBIN motor vehicle agreement. Increasing number of women falling victims to domestic violence. And illegal fishing threatening the population of golden mussel in the country. Now the details. The government is planning to conduct a restudy of the Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal or BBIN motor vehicle agreement. This was discussed during the Media Meet program recently.
Last year, the previous government withdrew from the agreement, stating the implementation of the BBIN motor vehicle agreement would do more harm than good. The new government says they are looking into whether to reintroduce the agreement or not.
I had a delegation from our Bhutanese industries in the south. And actually they are requesting that we should consider the BBIN because our truckers, we are approximately about 200 trucks are going to Bangladesh and they are facing problems because we have not signed on to BBIN, whereas trucks originating from other countries have easy access and parcel.
The foreign minister added, the decision will be taken only after a thorough study and discussion with relevant stakeholders. For Samtin Dolkar, this is Pemal Harden for BBS News.
Prime Minister Dr. Lote Swing said the government would be able to confirm the grant amount of 12th five-year plan from donor partners once the electricity export tariff for Mangdechu hydropower project is finalized. Lynchen highlighted this at the first Meet the PM session at Gyeong Thokang last week.
Prime Minister presented the details of the 12th plan, which amounts to about 310 billion Newton. This is an increase by 97 billion Newton as compared to the total budget outlay of the 11th five-year plan. Lynchen added, the 12th plan document is ready for implementation. The government is banking on the electricity export tariff from Mangdechu hydropower project to increase the country's internal revenue, which is mainly used for current expenditure. It includes salaries of public servants, renovation funds of public infrastructure, and expenses for daily affairs of the government.
12 plan ki internal revenue nalo ngache pha Mangdechu gi tariff it included bedula. The tariff ki negotiation is going on. Tariff ki negotiation ki amount the tundi ki benga chile internal resource ki strength de ani nga sheni me chunibi Mangdechu ki tariff de any time this month confirm jongla then we can actually work on how much we need from donor agencies including GOI.
Prime Minister also commented that the government of India has committed their continued assistance for the 12th five-year plan.
GOI ki commitment de tero khongi hole amount ki commit ngachige shushumi khonge amount commit bibomi se shunibi Tiboda, as had been the past trend, Bhutan government needs the kachira euro justify beda wachin. We will positively look into this semi going actually commit be seshunibe rulu rigobe the palomgi samchada tindi jonime palomgi samchadi rangi beja tindi jon seshunibe lab chansu khatala lab de ati jometubla so anidwati achira chigilamdi thamni metu the tindi ani kokap ime seshunibe.
During the recent tour of Bhutanese journalists to India, the Ministry of External Affairs said the Indian government will go in line with the Bhutanese government's priorities. The government of India has been Bhutan's largest development partner since the inception of five-year plan development program in early 1960s. Pemal Harden for BBS News.
The number of reported cases on women falling victim to domestic violence is on the rise. This year till November, more than 500 women reported having experienced some form of domestic violence. They reported the cases to NCWC and RENEW.
This year until November, more than 400 women who fell victim to domestic violence came to report their cases with RENEW. Going by the statistics maintained by the civil society organization, It is an increase by 14 cases compared to last year's annual figure. Similarly, within just 5 months of its operation, NCWC's Women and Child Helpline recorded more than 126 such cases.
It's just that people are becoming more aware of the legal provisions and protection and support services that are available in the country. Therefore, people are now being less tolerant to domestic violence and reporting it.
The officials say there could be more unreported cases.
We found out that only about 1% of the survivors reported to an NGO. Even if it was 1% that has reported to us, our numbers should have been around 3,000 in relation to the population we have in the country. A minimum of 3,000 cases should be registered with us. But like I mentioned, until 2017, our numbers didn't even reach 500. Only this year, by June, it's crossing 500. So there is a lot of unreported cases in the country.
Power imbalance is the major cause of domestic violence in Bhutanese households. There is a fear among women of losing their husband, who in most cases is the family's sole bread earner.
Because of the different stereotypical gender roles we have in Bhutan, I think there is a power imbalance where a man is seen as a breadwinner and therefore the decision maker, and therefore he decides what can be done in the family, what the family member can do, cannot do, and has to stick by his decisions. And the moment he feels that the power or the decision is being challenged, then it manifests in one or the other form of violence.
Alugi khada dungta lila marhum nga khole tin de zadio ko yuna mena khoi.
They say they have children or that their husband is the only breadwinner. So reporting against him would mean taking their spouse prisoner by the police or be questioned by the court.
Women also choose not to report because there is a stigma attached to domestic violence.
There's shame around it when people start talking about you and you're not doing well in the family, your family being abusive and breaking up and all those things. People don't want to bring it up in the public. They want to resolve it among themselves as far as possible.
From the cases examined so far, it is found women consider reporting incidences of domestic violence to organizations such as Renew and NCWC as their last option. This 40-year-old woman held on to her marriage with an alcoholic husband for 11 years. He would often come home late and physically abuse her. Their marriage survived on numerous agreements made between the two. And when nothing changed, she took him to the court.
He was like that since our first child. I wanted a divorce, but he did not. He kept telling that he will not repeat. He would make an agreement and stick by it just for a month. After that, it was the same again. We made a lot of agreements.
It is the same with most women who reported their cases to either NCWC or Renew.
When they come
here, they always come with an agreement that they previously made involving community elders, which looks risky for the mediator as well. There are severe violence cases and the mediators would have brought both parties to a consensus through an agreement. But the violence doesn't stop there. The agreement is drawn many times, and when it doesn't work, the victims come to us.
Meanwhile, as the nation observed the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women and Children, Prime Minister Dr. Lotus Singh said the country's laws and policies on such matters are stringent enough. What the society lacks is personal commitment from men to make their homes safe haven for their spouses. Poop Game for BBS News.
Illegal fishing has severely threatened the population of golden mussel in the country. To counter this, there are plans to develop community-based conservation and recreational fishing.
Golden mussel is a migratory fish that makes its home in the rivers of Himalayan region. According to the World Wildlife Fund, rivers of southern Bhutan are the greatest hope for survival of the fish as long as actions are taken soon to minimize the threats.
That there is a lot of illegal fishing going on throughout southern Bhutan. We studied it in the Manas River system, which was the Dangmachu-Mangdachu complex, and the mortality from illegal fishing is extremely high, so high that that's probably right now the #1 threat to mussel.
During the first International Mussel Conference in Paro, scientists from 11 countries recommended establishing community-based conservation and initiating recreational fishing in Manas to control illegal poaching.
A golden mussel alive in the river is worth a lot more to Bhutan, to the river, and to them than a dead harvested one as a piece of, for food. So that is the key to develop the economic importance of live fish, and one way to do that is to establish high-end recreational fishing, and that's one of the things that we developed a kind of a model system and proposed that.
In Bhutan, very little is known about the fish species. For the last 4 years, the Mussel Research and Conservation Project in Bhutan have been tracking the fish along Mangdachu and Drangmichu, studying its migratory pattern. The research is first of its kind.
We actually implant surgically radio transmitters inside adult mussel and then have listening stations on the river so that we track their movements throughout the year. Adult mussel can migrate up the river 90, 100 kilometers, maybe in just 1 or 2 days to spawn. And they spawn in tributaries. They move back down in the winter, but don't go into India. Most all of them stay in Bhutan.
During the research, the team also discovered the presence of chocolate mussel. Today, with several dams constructed in Himalayan region already, it's feared that the number of mussel may even decline by 80%.
The moment you build a concrete structure in a free-flowing river and you're kind of obstructing that, you automatically block the movement of migratory fish, and most of them, if not all, the migrating fish, they are moving up to spawn, and this way you're cutting off the chances of future recruitment. So again, in that sense, I think we need studies like this that would generate sound and scientific data that would help us to develop, again, mitigation measures that would go hand in hand, so that we do not have to say, okay, we do not want to have the hydropowers.
According to the Living Planet Report 2018, the freshwater fish have had the highest extinction rate in 20th century. For Sagi Chisholm in Paro, Chunitama for BBS News.
Deadline for the 118 megawatt Nikachu hydropower project in Tongsa has been extended by a year. The project is now scheduled to be completed in 2021 instead of 2020. According to project officials, unforeseen problems at the dam site and tunnels are one of the main reasons for the delay.
It is almost 3 years after initial works began in April 2016. The project was targeted to be complete within 4 years. A little over 23% of the overall works were completed as of November this year. Damage caused by heavy rainfall is said to be one of the causes.
Here in Tongsa, we get a lot of rainfall, and because of heavy rainfall, all our access road to various construction sites got affected. And although we have done a detailed investigation initially during the DPR stage, but because of the adverse geological condition that we have encountered, particularly at the dam region, at the lap bank excavation, there was a little bit delay.
Heavy seepage of water inside one of the tunnels during excavation works in June this year also impeded the work progress. Another major reason for the delay was because of financial issues with the construction company.
The other thing is that presently across the construction industries, both in Bhutan and India, all the construction company are at same footing or going through same problem, that is cash flow. Because of the cash flow also actually there was issue where we could not progress as per the original plan.
Tangsipji Hydro Energy Limited, a fully owned subsidiary company of Druk Green, is undertaking the implementation of the project. The project is expected to cost almost 12 billion Newton, with majority of the funding from Asian Development Bank. Once complete, the tailwater of the project will be discharged into the reservoir of Mangdishu project, generating additional power. The power generated will be sold to Power Trading Corporation of India Limited. For Basa in Drongsa, this is Swing Dandu for BBS News.
Of the 1,947 candidates who sat the Bhutan Civil Service main examination this year, 1,538 candidates scored 50% and above. 50% is the minimum score required to be eligible for placement and selection. The Royal Civil Service Commission declared the results on Monday. Pema Yudin, a BSc in Mathematics graduate from the University of Texas in the US, topped the general category with 73.05%. In the Zonka category, Sring Topge from the Taksei College of Language and Culture Studies is the topper with 75.14%. He studied BE Honours in Language and Literature.
대 춘주점이 마히습지 유비기 날에 당가라 안당부 톱츠미디 대 지르켄지 숨기 투제다 대 밤빈 제기멜람 람르비 추기 대 잡졸리 땡디기 이 세슈니라 대 공가라로 당가라 카둘레 나미세미까지 제 세슈니라.
Ugen Wangmo, who studied BSc Honours in Horticulture from Sam Higginbotham University of Agriculture, Technology and Science in India, topped the technical category. She scored 75.74%. With 75.83%, Sonam Nyuma from Paro College of Education topped the B.Ed General category. And Publamo, also from the Paro College of Education, topped the B.Ed Zonka category with 69.4%.
Angdangpa themedilu na bisemisem gai dadangpara kadinga sukalo samni muzewachindi ngachira dushungli mela teleni bazewdalu chirken chusumgi kadin telesum bazewdalu losali guzundi give ngara thorim lokta thamaki sinsigirinlu cheyente nami lebe tele ngara gi dinchen gi phamda pincha disu charu disu gara lukatin chezi shunila.
According to the Royal Civil Service Commission, the final selection will be based on the merit ranking of the result and availability of vacancies. There are 747 vacancies in the civil service, but to get a job, a drug test is a must. Giladem for BBS News. The Department of Culture is reviewing and updating the inventory of antiques and non-antiques in zongs, monasteries, temples and in private houses in the country. Today, there are around 45,000 antiques registered with the department. The antiques inventory system in the country was initiated since 1982 to preserve and protect antiques from going out of the country.
This group of officials from the Department of Culture are in Punakha. They are checking the antiques and non-antiques recorded in their list, and some new ones are added to the list.
1.07.
A detailed report after completing the review will be submitted to the Dzongkhag administration for necessary action.
daurere bana yanchin lorere bana de city chap anzume bebedalu de chala changami sanga disu de ana shebe gergi chekhang disu gara rere shindugibe de ngaji misudisulu goadati bedigibe de rere shindube ngaji chekhang disu de toke chap bedalu de dari ngaji toke chap dalu mangil hakangi disu toke chang charji beong de le juangil hakang disu charji beong latilgil hakang disu charji beong gergi hakang disu charji beong di memigi ransosugi kimnalu yemidisue tengachi toke chappebe de andisu de dato goribishindu tengachi joega ye seshuni.
It helps to keep a proper list of antiques and non-antiques in every district for easy access in future. Department is also punching the information in the computer unlike in the past. In Punakha, a few pages of gold scripture and some other items were found missing.
팀집이 잘라디 강진기릭 마삼로 집에 와진 같이 데텔레 디 세니기 된로 땡같이 팀송다 델레 데 제실기 된로 같이 팀기 된서 당고 생같이 자침나리 디다 트데라 병 세슈닐라 델레니바 강진 미미기릭 아츠리 체가 팀로 집에 와진 깨니르 가기갑로 체집에나 델레 아니디수디 다우숨다 다우 두친싱이 같이 디세중 아님치기 난켄날로 주 해마와 마조지 자마조금이 예시기디 좀 마sob도지 배워진 데 디앙아지기 데 차트인데 티디기베 팀기 딘살로 세시르기 된로 땅옹세.
Department of Culture is planning to cover 10 districts in the 12th five-year plan. It is now urging every individual to keep antiques and non-antiques ready with them for the review. With camera person Kenju Singh, this is Changadoji for BBS News.
As the nation observed the International Day of Persons with Disabilities recently, people living with various forms of disabilities raised the need for more disabled-friendly services in the country. In absence of such facilities, they often feel excluded from social activities or do not enjoy full participation.
An accident at the age of 2 left the lower half of Tandin Doji's body immovable. The 21-year-old said it is difficult when most infrastructure in and around his community are not accessible to people like him.
For people like me using wheelchairs, there are no ramp facilities. When we come across big drains, we face problems getting across. Moreover, for those living in upper floors, there are no ramps. It is also challenging accessing public transport services.
I want to take part in various activities, but it's difficult. Every time I want to go somewhere, I need someone to assist me. And once I reach wherever I want to go, I have a good time with my friends.
People living with disabilities said there is a need for wheelchair ramps and separate footpaths for them, at least in public places such as hospitals, banks and schools. They added, with most health specialists and advanced medical services centralized in urban areas, they have to live in such a place renting apartments.
Most people prefer to stay in the capital since we have a better health services here. I stay in Thimphu since I have to visit the hospital for regular checkups and health advices.
We would be grateful if the government could provide us with monthly salary or stipend. Although physically challenged, if one is literate, he or she can find a means to earn a living. But for those illiterates, a financial support would help a lot.
Addressing the gathering, the health minister assured that the government, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, will work harder for the common good of all people living with disabilities in the country.
The government has the utmost responsibility to provide these services so that they are able to productively participate as a productive citizen of the country. As the government of the day, we are very much committed in providing inclusive services and comprehensive services to our people. And when I talk about inclusive, again, recognizing that every one of us is different. Every one of us has the potential to do, given the opportunity.
Globally, about 10% of the people live with disabilities. Of it, Bhutan alone has prevalence of about 2.2%, and most of them suffer from hearing and visual impairments. For Pema Sewang, Sunampem for BBS News.
Local leaders in Lindsay are appealing against instructions given by the Home Ministry to relieve the gedrungs. Geok offices across the country have been given the same orders to relieve their employees by March next year. The ministry says they are currently carrying out a study to find out if the officers do indeed need gedrongs.
The debate on the requirement of Gyok clerks surfaced again at the Zongkak Tsogdu in Hlinsi. This was following an office order issued by the Ministry of Home and Cultural Affairs in October this year. The order instructs all local leaders to relieve both old and new gedrongs by 6th March next year. Local leaders say this is so that new clerks who meet the criteria of having Class 12 passed qualification and trained in computer application be recruited. Gyok officers appealed to let their current gedrongs be retained until new recruitments are completed.
Despite manpower shortage in the Geog administrations, gedrongs are to be relieved again. If they are relieved, Geog administration will face lots of problems. Gup and Mangmi don't get much time to stay in office due to official works. We also look after many issues happening in the community, so there won't be any more to provide service to the people in our absence.
There is a criterion for new recruitment of gedrong to at least be a Class 12 graduate. And the office order we received states that gedrongs have to be relieved by March next year. So Khoma Gyok Tsokde decided to retain them for those incumbents who have Class 12 qualifications.
Our gedrong resigned 2 months ago and currently we are facing lots of problems in Geog administration works. Today we closed our office to attend Zongkak Tsogdu and there is no one to stay there. The requirement of gedrong is also there in the rules and procedures of local government, so it's our duty to implement it. It is also the responsibility of Zongkak Tsogdu to endorse the resolution and submit it to relevant ministry and agencies.
Gedrung works like a housewife, so villages would face many problems if we resign. Gup and Mangmi mostly go to attend meetings and trainings in other places. I worked as a gedrung for last 7 years, and if we have to resign by next year, my livelihood will be affected.
The DT thus decided to listen to the requests made by the members.
To ensure decentralization of power at the grassroots level, more human resources are required in the Gyok. But gedrongs are to be relieved and we would face many consequences if we do so. Therefore, the Zongkak Tsogdu has decided to retain them until new recruitment is done. And the resolution will be submitted to the Ministry of Home and Culture Affairs for review.
The ministry shares they are currently carrying out a study after which they will decide if new gedrongs need to be employed or not. Currently, there are over 200 gedrongs in the country. Their main duties are to collect tax and draft correspondences to the cups. For Sonam Tsering in Hlinsi, this is Pasan Doji for BBS News.
This is all we have for you this week and thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.